It takes more than the President's Commission and the White House Fellows Foundation Association to give the White House Fellows class a robust experience. And for 42 years of his life, Jack Valenti was a great friend of this group. And he helped so much to make this program what it is. And as most of you know, we then named an award after him for someone who has done so much for the fellowship. I'm going to call on Teresa Schwartz, who is the chair of the Valenti Committee, to present this year's Valenti Award.
We're multitasking today. I'm talking, you eat. Well, it was a real pleasure to chair the Valenti Committee, and at the table of honor in front here are several members of the committee that helped with the selection process, Janet Abrams, Mark Redinger, and David Iglesias. And we had a wonderful time considering the generous supporters of this program. So while it was a great pleasure to do the work, it's an even greater pleasure to introduce this year's recipient of the Jack Valenti Friend of the White House Fellows Award. As Alan explained, Jack was for over 40 years just about the best friend this organization could have ever had. The award recognizes people who have not been themselves fellows, but who for one reason or another are the real champions and exemplary supporters of the program. And in this 5th year, we are recognizing Susan Eisenhower for this award. She's a distinguished civic leader, a recognized expert on energy and international affairs. She's an author, scholar, and a very great and generous friend of the White House Fellows. A few words about our remarkable honoree. Susan was a founder and the first president of the Eisenhower Institute, which is a nonpartisan center for leadership and policy development affiliated with Gettysburg College. One of its signature programs is the Eisenhower Fellows Program, which provides selected undergraduates of the college with the opportunity to study public policy and to develop leadership skills. Susan is president of the Eisenhower Group, which provides strategic counsel to major companies on political, business, and public affairs projects. She has authored 3 books and edited 4 volumes on regional security issues. Throughout her career, she has contributed her time and energy and expertise on numerous blue ribbon commissions and advisory boards addressing some of the most critical issues of our time, including non-proliferation, international security, nuclear energy, and arms control. In sum, she is a remarkable example to all of us of leadership and excellence in her professional and civic life and in her commitment to the nation. One might say she is truly living the values of the White House Fellows Program. But today what brings her to our attention and our honor is what she has done and continues to do to support and strengthen the White House Fellows Program. And she's an example to us for that as well. Her generosity has been extraordinary and has had a real positive impact on the White House Fellows Program. Because of Susan, the Eisenhower Institute has become the host and the underwriter of the Fellows Orientation Program. With that support, orientation now has become greatly improved. It now takes place at the Gettysburg College over a 5-day period in late August before the fellows, the incoming class of fellows, have started their jobs. Having this amount of time, which is made possible by the Institute and Susan's efforts, has given the fellows an opportunity to really get to know each other at the outset of the year, to discuss the values of the White House Fellows Program, and to consider the year ahead. There's also a rich education program, which includes, among other things, a keynote address by Susan and a tour of the Gettysburg battlefield. There's also a session with the college's challenging ropes course, which apparently is quite a bonding experience. For this year's class, as well as last year's, the highlight of the orientation, I have heard repeatedly, has been Susan's taking the fellows on a historical and behind-the-scenes personal tour of her grandfather's farm. As one fellow wrote about this experience, hearing Susan speak about her grandfather's leadership legacy truly touched me. I left the day with a real sense of General and Mrs. Eisenhower and their tremendous everyday sacrifices for our nation. It's really hard to overstate the value of the revamped orientation program in getting the fellows off to a good start. Susan has made this possible, and in doing so has enhanced not only the experience for the individual fellows, but for the quality of the program as a whole. So for all she has done, for her personal commitment to the fellows and to the fellows program, I am pleased to present today to Susan Eisenhower the 2012 Jack Valenti Friend of the White House Fellows Award. So for obvious reasons, I'm not going to hand her the award, but we are going to go over and stand by it, or have Susan stand by it.
Okay, great. Teresa, thank you very much for those wonderful remarks. I'm indebted to you and to the nominating committee for honoring me with this wonderful award. It's particularly meaningful for me because I knew Jack Valenti. Actually, Jack Valenti and I traveled to France once. It was to mark the 50th anniversary of the invasion of Normandy, and there was a film series done of the great films that were made about that event, and we had a wonderful trip together. He was a great American public servant, and to be given an award with his name on it is really very meaningful for me. In addition to the fact, of course, that the White House Fellows Program is one of the most outstanding leadership programs that exist in this country. The fact that you have an opportunity right now at such a historic time in our country's history to be here and to be working closely with the people who are leading our country at this time, I think is very meaningful. I just wanted to tell you that actually you have enriched my life. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed these sessions up at Gettysburg, to meet you when you first come in and then to see you at the end of your intellectual journey. And I must say that it's a particular thrill for me because I so benefited from having the opportunity of working closely with people who had served in government. And though I wasn't a White House Fellow, I was extremely fortunate to have worked closely with so many former members of the Eisenhower administration. One of your White House Fellows here today, George Wills, worked for my great-uncle Milton Eisenhower. And this is a great tradition that they allowed me to share with them. And so please know that it has been an honor, not only for me personally, but also for the Eisenhower Institute to host you in Gettysburg. But I will always be very moved by this award. And it has been a great pleasure to work with all of you, Sydney Molas for her hard work and effort. And I look forward to seeing you, maybe not you, but the next class next September. I'll see you at your commencement.